How are you, Mr. Donor? How are you? Good to see you guys here. Good to see you guys here. It should open up. How are you, Dr. Evo? How are you, Matthew? Welcome to the show. Mr. Jose Mercado, welcome to the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Before I get into the watch market update show, I would like to ask all of you for a big favor. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to give us a like. All right, give us a like. We don't ask for much in this channel, guys. We just want to keep on bringing you some good content, some real honest content, so you guys won't get flim flam out there. All right, guys? Don't forget to subscribe and like our video. Ladies and gentlemen, I did a video, a live stream on Friday, and I believe it came from my heart. It was a truthful live stream I made for you guys, and we were talking about gold and and what can happen. And I also was talking about, which I feel deeply, deeply saddened to hear with the situation that's happening with Iran and Israel. I'm very sad. And I spoke about that subject, and it's really really ironic that I spoke to you about regarding what I believe, in order for gold to jump up, you know, uh, needs to happen, and I don't want it to happen, but it's the way the owners of the world structure things, and so I said that, if Iran and Israel will go into a war, then gold would move up, will move up in pricing. And I said that on Friday, and I told you guys, to the ones that haven't seen that video, maybe you should go take a look, see at that video. I haven't been able to repost it for reasons that I don't know, for reasons that I don't know. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, well, ask some of the other subscribers, maybe they'll explain to you, open, close, So, and I spoke to you about that, and I said, who knows, these American people are unbelievable, these American people are unbelievable. Thank you, John, for that super chat. Thank you very much. The American people are unbelievable, and they do things in a way that, you know, you have to understand. You have to be some way involved. And I told you guys, who knows? Maybe the Americans will do a strike. We'll drop a bomb on the weekend. I said that. If you look at the video, you're gonna see it. I said that on Friday. Who knows? Maybe they'll drop or they'll strike something on the weekend, on Saturday or Sunday. Well, to my surprise, it was done yesterday, and it saddens me because that's something that nobody wins in a war. The only ones that win in a war are the people that are financing the war. You know, the people that are financing the war, they will never lose because they financed both sides of the war. Both sides. And you don't know about that, but I'll say quickly. That's you know, every single war that has come in through this world has been financed by no other than the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds. Unbelievable but true. You guys don't believe that? That's fine. Look into it. Google it, and you'll find out. So, the owners, the big trifecta, the three trifecta, they got together and they said it's time to do it, and they did it. So now we have a situation that's going on. And Monday morning, people are asking, so is gold gonna jump up? Well, I'll take I'll be the responsibility to say that yes, gold will jump up, on Monday morning. When we wake up, it's gonna jump up. It's gonna jump up the price in gold. And people are asking me that question, and I say, well, listen, there's a couple of factors here. And the factor is, I don't want to talk about politics, but I have to, because this is the only way I'm going to explain to you the situation with gold to the ones that are playing with gold. There's a couple of factors here. The factor is that we have to find out how Iran will respond on the subject of, being attacked by the U.S. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna stay with their arms crossed? Are they gonna do something? Are they gonna call their friends? Are they gonna call their friends, like you might ask yourself? They're gonna call Hamas from Gaza. Are they gonna call Hezbollah from Lebanon? Hezbollah, from Lebanon. Are they gonna call Houthi, from Yemen? Maybe you guys don't know about this, but this is the way the money of the world moves around. And you're saying, well, what is this guy talking about? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, move on somewhere else, because we're going to drop knowledge in this channel. In this channel. No te metas, papi, en esto ahora, no te metas. And you also have Iraq, with the Iranian militia, with the Iranian militia. You have that, and you have Iran. So you have all these friends. It depends tonight, this morning at some time, what they're going to do, to find out if the stock market is going to crash or it's just going to take a little hiccup. You understand me? A hiccup. So, what can happen? Well, they might talk to Hamas, Hamas, what do you think if we throw a little bomb, to the pipe, the pipeline, you guys don't know about that, but, you have the pipeline, 20% of the world oil supply goes through Hornets, it goes through there, so it depends how Iran is gonna, deal with the situation, if they stay like this, then we have a little hiccup in the stock market. But if they decide to use those five friends of theirs, Hamas, Hezbollah, one of those names, I'm not making fun of none of these people. I respect all of them. How's that? To each his own. You got Houthi from Yemen, and you have the from Iraq, the Iranian militia. And if these guys decide to attack, and they attack, places that are very important, like the pipeline, the oil pipeline, the oil, it goes through, it's a pipeline. 20% of that goes through, through the world. Unbelievable, So if that happens, if that happens, it's going to be a lot of trouble, because you might be saying, but what kind of trouble? Well, you can contain bombs coming this way, but you can't contain coming from here, there, that way, under, here, that. You can't contain that. You cannot contain it. Too many places, every angle, you understand what I'm trying to say? Please help me out if you understand what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, you Google it. But it's all together. And that's what's gonna make gold go up, or the market just take a little hiccup. And right there, it depends. It's like when you guys got into a fist fight when you were in junior high school. And the other kid will tell you, I meet you at 3 o'clock after the bell. We're gonna settle this. And because you punched me in the eye in gym class, and We got to settle this. And then after school is over, they go at it. They finish the situation. So we don't know if Iran is going to finish the situation, or you'll just stay with their arms closed and say, that's it. That's it. And so to all of you that are asking me about gold, these are the factors that come in place. These are the factors. If nobody has told you about this, exactly, no more petrodollars. Tú sabes, se jodió esto, papi. This is, listen, when you come to this channel, you come to talk for real here, I know you guys are used to talking to these Michiganers, that you give away your children's tuition money and your thank you chats, super chats, Christmas chats, whatever that, but we come here to tell you the truth for free. For free. And you have a gentleman here by the name of Dr. E. Dr. E. He's going to tell you the truth. No more petro money, papi. And they say, listen, that's, they talk to the Hamas people. And the Hamas people say, yeah, let's do it. Let's do this over here because we need to get back at them. This is what this is all about. And like I told you, a war is founded by one person on both sides. They never lose. They're not like us. They're not like us, and they never lose. They are really not like us. They just want to make money. The owners of the world. Y esto es una jodienda, papá. This is what's gonna, tomorrow morning is when you're gonna find out. And then the stock market will close at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. the stock market will close and you'll find out if you lost big money or you made big money. Listen to what Mr. Dr. E is telling you. He's unbelievable. And this is what it is, we cannot continue being dumbskis. This is what they want to do with you people. Dumb down on you. Dumb down. I'm not going to dumb down. No te meta, Gino. No te meta. No te meta. Yo tengo esto ya. Yo tengo esto tranquilo. No te meta. So at 4 o'clock tomorrow, the stock market closes. And you'll find out tomorrow morning. In a couple hours, you'll find out if, maybe when I finish this live stream, you'll see it right away. If they stood like this, or they told their little rascal friends, this is like the little rascals, Spanky, Alfalfa, you understand what I'm trying to say? Farina, Porky, all these people, they get together. All these, they all get together in the clubhouse. You never saw the little rascals when you were a kid. Well, this is the same thing. They get together and they talk about it. What do we do now? What do we do now? We stay like this, or we speak to Hamas from Gaza, or we speak to Hezbollah, Hezbollah from Lebanon. It's unbelievable, these people, Houthi from Yemen, the Iraq, the Iranian militia, and also the Iranians. This is unbelievable. You cannot contend bombs coming this way, bombs coming this way, bombs coming this way, and that way. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. I'm not defending nobody here. I'm not defending Iran, I'm not defending Israel, and I'm not defending the USA. I'm telling you facts. Farina, remember Farina? Farina, from the Little Rascals. Farina, he's unbelievable. He was there. And when he would see something that would spook him, his hair would stand up. This is what's happening in the world, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's happening. And, they want dumbskis all day long so they can't see nothing. And I don't know if you know this, but this was an operation that you won't believe it. It was called, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. Listen and learn. Listen and learn. Operation Midnight Hammer. They had 7 stealth planes flying, on radar, radar, como aquí, radar, on radar, 7 planes, so that they can see they were flying, and they were going to Guam. Guam? You know what Guam is at? Guam. They were going to Guam, right? And then they had 7 planes going under radar, under, going into Iran. These people are unbelievable. These owners of the world are unbelievable. You know, I'm telling you what it is. Nobody's gonna bring you a show like this one. Nobody, Bobby, nobody. And listen to me. You know, I'm not a smart man. I'm a dropout from high school. You know, I'm a dropout. But they always told me, you need to read. You need to read. You guys probably never been dropped out of school. You guys are all geniuses, but you guys don't read and you guys don't ask nothing, so you don't know nothing. You just skip around like a rabbit through life while I told you what's going on. You know? Exactly. You need to read between the lines. I can't tell you everything, you know, because, you know, they do this to me. They do this to me, you know, because I'm stupid like that. You know, I'm stupid. I already told you that the owners of the world, this is a business transaction. Let me drink a little bit of this jungle juice that gets me relaxed. I'm going to drink some of this because we have a fellow loyal subscriber in this channel that tells me always one, you need to keep it simple for them. So I'm trying, but I get a little bit agitated, you know? And then Kino's giving me hand signs, what to say, what not to say, so we don't get, you know? But I don't know how to tell you, you know? And this is what it is. If you want to know what's going to happen for gold to go up tomorrow, this is what has to happen. You know, if tomorrow Iran or this morning in a couple hours, they stand like this with their hands crossed and nothing happens, it's just a hiccup. And gold will go up to, you know, it'll probably go up to over 3,000, higher than what it was in April the 25th of 2025, which it was at $3,505. I think this will take it over that. It'll be the new record in gold. But I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if those people talk to their club friends, you know, their little rascal friends, and they get them all together, Papi, dark times are already here. You can forget about buying watches, man. You guys, this is your moment. If you have cash, you're the king. You will dominate the conversation. Nobody is buying watches. Nobody is buying watches. Get it through your head. The watch market is dead. Get it through your head. The watch market is dead. People don't want to believe this because this is like the owners of the world. The owners of the world first, they do many distractions. So you look that way while they go on that way. You know? Así quiero, ¿verdad? Que tú me enseñaste. Así. You understand me? Kino showed me that. You know? They got you distracted. Look that way while they go that way. And that's when they do this. Deep. Deep. You understand me? And that's how it is. I'm telling you what it is, papi. If these people decide, you know, to throw a couple of things, bing, 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 bing. Se jodió esto. That's it. If they decide. Now, if you're asking me, do I want that? Hell no. Papi, I have grandkids, man. I have grandkids. I'm sure you have nephews, 18, 19 years old. We don't want that, man. But I'm giving you what it is, because ustedes son unos lambones. Ustedes son palomos, lambones, gilipollas, mamalones. Y Kino, yo no he dicho nada malo, Kino. It's incredible what's going on. You should have seen the way those planes were flying in radar. 7 flying to Guam. Distraction. And all of them are looking at the planes. You know? Así que, ¿verdad? Like that. 7 that way. And the radar, those how do you call those boats? Not those boats, the submarine. You're looking around. They were looking around at those planes. While they were being distracted, 7 were coming through, under radar, under. Una jodienda, brillante, papá. Una loquera. I said, wow, man. This is what they're saying. Now, if you ask me, do you really want to believe it was like that? Unbelievable. Y no se lo puedo decir por los muchachos, los insulto. I'm just going to tell you the story. That's all. Forget about what I believe. I'm out there, man. I'm out there. I'm out there. But these are the factors that have to happen. One, for the stock market to crash. Got a friend of mine, and he called me up. He says, I did something crazy, and I did something crazy on Friday. On Friday, Papi, this is square business. If you guys don't know that kind of lingo, this is square business. This person called me to tell me, I saw your video and I saw what you were talking about if there was going to be a strike, if they were going to throw bombs, bling, 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 bling. And I did an investment on Friday in the stock market. If something happens that these people decide to ask their clubhouse friends, the little rascals, all these people, Froggy, Porky, you understand me? All these people, Alfalfa, Spanky, help me out with this issue. And these people, they say yes. Papa, esto se jodió. Papi, esto se jodió. Esto se jodió. I mean, I know what I'm trying to tell you, because you guys, somebody has to tell you the truth. I have 27 organic subscribers and 15 thumbs up. This is the only thing I ask you guys. And, and it's unbelievable, you guys. It's like, let's go see this guy. And then when I say that to them, 3 run. They run because they're spooking, They're spooking. They're under the, under the radar. Under the radar. They're under the radar. That's the word, the radar? Radar? ¿Cómo se dice eso, cuando están volando? Unbelievable, So this is crazy, and I gotta tell you the truth. Somebody gotta tell you the truth, Somebody, it's incredible, and you cannot continue, ladies and gentlemen, being crumb bums. You cannot continue being possum kickers. You cannot continue being cow tippers. I told all of you already what you need to know to prepare yourself. I gave you la receta, the prescription. I gave it to you. You need to watch the network. You understand me? You need to watch the network. And if you can't watch the network, well, you're going to have to keep on watching me. And sweet Kino to me, Joaquin to you. So we can keep on giving you knowledge, papi. Nobody's going to tell you this. These Moshuganas, Manishma, papi, Manishma. They're going to keep on telling you that the watch market is up and running. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. The watch market is dead, and we are saving one by one a tomato can. And then we're converting them into recovering tomato cans. You understand me? We are going to save one tomato can at a time. So you guys can continue delivering the word, la palabra. You know? You understand? Como Gigi Avila. You know who Gigi Avila is? If you don't know who Gigi Avila is, you Google it because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I am not going to tell you. You know, it gets me kind of sad that, all of you are out there, just, I see what you guys write to these lambones, estos palomos, these cockroaches who have been fleecing you for so long and flim-flamming you for so long, and you're out there telling the fake Italian flat top monkey eyebrows how great he is. You're out there telling, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes how great his content is. Ladies and gentlemen, no sean lambones. How can you be telling Deputy Boxing Black Eyes that his content is unbelievable when the man has 500,000, bot subscribers? 500,000 bot subscribers, for Gazy, make believe. And he gets 4,000 views. And you guys are telling him your content is unbelievable. Ustedes son unos lambones. Ustedes son unos lambones. Don't you understand that I'm number one? Kino, no te meta. I'm number one. Bobby, this channel is number one. Regardless of what you see, this channel is number one. There's nobody like this channel. The rest are talking to you about Velcro straps. Review this watch, fighting with that dodo bird, fighting with the other one. He said, she said, parecen prostituta. You look like prostitutes. Increíble. No, esto es increíble. And me, what do I get? Ginseng. And ladies and gentlemen, I did that video on Friday, and I spoke to you about gold. I spoke to you what had to happen with Iran and Israel and USA. I said it on Friday on the live stream I did. And everything I told you on Friday, it happened less than 24 hours. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to be very, very honest about this. The one that takes all the credit for all that is no other than Joaquin. Joaquin to you, Kino to me. He is the brains behind this channel's success. I am just a voice. Don't forget that. People still ask, where is Kino? Kino doesn't want to. If you see Kino, it's over for you. I'm just telling you what's going on because you need to know all this. And nobody's going to tell you this, Papa. People are scared. People want to keep on looking at the Kardashians, People want to see the fake basketball game that's been fixed. The game has been fixed. You've been watching the NBA for the last 2 weeks, They've been prolonging the games, to make it to go to 7-game series because, papi, the owners of the world, papi, mira, mucha pasta, mucho dinero, mucha plata, mucho euros, euros, chavo, chelito. Papi, la situación está jodida. La situación está jodida. Y ustedes de lambones y palomos, creyéndole, believing that the watch market is up and running. Papi, the watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. I will not let up a moment, not even a minute I will let up on these people. And I'm going to tell you something else now because I'm going to change the conversation. We have a gentleman that he is all over. He has made a parade in the last 3 months. He has flipped. He belonged to the dark side. This is a watch dealer. He belongs in the dark side. And he, in that Corona era, he flim-flammed many out there and fleeced many out there. He's a little overweight guy. He's a little bit overweight. They call him Uncle Johnny, and Kino calls him in a sweet way, Uncle Johnny, Eddie Monster. Eddie Monster. You ever seen Eddie Monster from the Monsters? Herman the Monster, you know what I'm saying? Grandpa, and then they had the little kid. I think his name is Butch Cassidy. He looks exactly like him, little overweight, probably, I don't know, 50 years old, and now he's selling watches from a Samsonite, luggage, over 3,000 Rolex watches, because now he wants to come to this side. And he's talking bad about everybody now, of other dealers. Does anybody know who I'm talking? I'm not going to give you the name, but does anybody know? We give here, yeah, there you go. That's all you have to say. That's all. Uncle Johnny, from over there, from 47th Street. And he hangs out, with Sinbad. He hangs out with the genie with the skin-tight hair and the man bun back, and he wears Clover Van Cleef bracelets. He's flipping on them. He's talking bad about them now. That they're, what he says? He says, Kino's told me all this. Kino has told me all this. He's saying that the watch industry that he belongs to is corrupt. Do you know how long I have been telling you that the watch business is corrupt? Come on, Papi. Papi. This guy is paying all over the place to do videos. Whether it's that platform, this platform, that platform, every platform, to let you guys know that he is a good guy now after he gave you this deep. Deep. Real deep. Deep. Eddie Monster, Papi. Look at him. Uncle Johnny, we call him in a sweet way, Eddie Monster. And I told Sweet Kid Kino, you talk to him and you tell him if he wants to put some of those watches in our watch group, it has to be under my condition. Because Uncle Johnny is flipping. He ain't flipping, man. Uncle Johnny, I know you like to watch this channel because you pick up a lot on me, on what I say. Corrupt. I've been saying corrupt for the last 2 years. And he's saying it now. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening in the watch industry. He turned on, in 47th Street, the Diamond District, he turned on, the subway train jumper, the Ghost, the Ghost subway jumper in the movie Ghost, the guy that lived in the train. He's unbelievable. That guy, he has there all the different vintage parts from all over the world, He has him, that guy from 47th Street. He looks exactly like the Ghost train jumper. And he lives in the train. I mean, what a resemblance. He looks unbelievable. These people are turning on each other. How do we know? We know, Papi. We know everything. Remember, we have been chosen as the #1 watch market update show by no other than Fudinki. Papi, what I'm giving you is unbelievable show, Papi. You have to be good at what you do, and I'm good. Papi. I'm like a celebrity. I'm a celebrity, Papi. I am a celebrity. People, when I walk in the malls and they see me, they want to take pictures with me and everything. This is no lie. I have been, approached, from corner to corner. They want to know who I am and what I'm about, But it is what it is. Of course I'm right. Of course I'm right. Now I'm only joking, Bobby. I'm only joking. But listen, guys, for real. So this gentleman by the name of Uncle Johnny, better known as a sweet name, Eddie Monster. Eddie Monster is flipping. He's talking bad. They're liars. They walk around with 3 watches, flexing. You gotta see this guy. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable, and he knows. I said, listen, we have in our watch group. I didn't say sweet que Kino did. We have people. They're very honest people. People that want to know the truth, and so we're talking about this subject. And if you start seeing watches in the platform, don't get scared, don't get scared. But, the one that's going to run those watches is going to be no other than Sweet Kikino and Samantha. Unbelievable. So, you're going to start seeing some of those watches there, and, don't ask too many questions where they're coming from, but, we're going to back it up, and it's unbelievable. So, this is what's happening. That you should see the guy. If you haven't seen the guy, I mean, he resembles exactly like Eddie Monster, man. He's unbelievable, that Uncle Johnny. He's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go in now to the watch market update, because I know that this is what you guys want. You guys want to continue to skip hopping around like bunny rabbits in the Playboy Mansion, and we're gonna give you that. We're gonna give you a watch market update. Let me just sip on a little jungle juice. It's unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first watch market update, watch of the day. It is the Rolex stainless steel gold, stainless steel and gold, the Sea Dweller, 43 millimeter. Reference number 1266013. I'm not going to give you the retail price. I don't feel like it. You do your own Googling if you want to know. I'm doing enough that I'm going to give you the reference number, because I'm stupid like that. I'm stupid. Yo soy una jodienda, papi. Yo soy una jodienda. And I'm just going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the prices that I'm telling you are under retail. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a used slider condition material watch. Use. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $13,500. And I'm not going to give you no drops either. I don't give you no drops. Drops really tire me. Mr. Dono said $14,000. He's on fire. But so am I. I'm on fire. So don't pay for that, okay? Our next watch is a Rolex Yellow Gold Yacht Master. Yellow Gold Yacht Master. White dial, blue ceramic bezel with the blue discontinue hand. The blue hand. The blue hand. Blue hand. Yellow gold. Reference number 116688. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch is over $45,000. Okay, over that. Okay, so you guys have an idea. Reference number again is the 116688. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean this. Don't pay for that watch more than $29,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want, Papi. And discontinue. I don't want to say it, Dr. Evil. For what? Why am I going to say discontinue? Look at Mr. Donor giving away money, $32,000. Come on, no sea gilipollas. Give it to the animal shelters. Give it to UNICEF. Give it to the homeless. You know, give it. Don't give it to Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another watch here. It's the Rolex Yellow Gold Submariner, 41 millimeter, blue dial, blue ceramic bezel. Reference number 126618LB. LB. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch. Don't pay. This is the channel that says the truth, Papi. Papi, they're bleeding. They're mad. They're mad. They know, ladies and gentlemen, that I have single-handedly disrupted, rattled the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels and dealers. Papi, I've been the biggest thorn. I promise you, I've been the one. I'm gonna take all the credit. I've been the one, Papi. I'm gonna take all the credit. Don't forget that I have single-handedly rattled, disrupted, dismantled the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channel dealer. That's all I got to tell you. Don't pay for that Submariner. Blue dial, blue ceramic bezel, yellow gold. Don't pay more than $32,000. $32,000. You can keep on hopping around through life like bunny rabbits. That is the price. That's right. And you know what? You know what, lazy? I love when they're mad at me. You know that? You know, Paco Gambino would always tell me, he would always tell me, Juan, listen to me, Juan. When somebody talks bad about you, don't get mad. That is a beautiful art. When somebody talks bad or good, you're in their head. Paco Gambino listen to me, Paco Gambino, he would tell me these words. Listen, you don't have to show no man, punches and fight. You just talk to them with words. You talk to them with words and your message will come across. You might even frighten them. He would tell me that. You know that? Can you believe that? A short little man would tell me that. He says, you don't have to get, you just talk to them in precise words. And you might install fear in them. And I'm just letting you know what it is. You do whatever you want. Don't forget the name, Paco Gambino. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We have a gentleman that he's been lost for a while. I want to talk a little bit about him because we need to help him out. We call this guy the San Francisco. He's always wandering around the streets, and he's gonna wax your sinus. Eugene. Eugene. Better known as Jacob. They call him Jacob. His name is Eugene, but they call him Jacob McChicken. So we have to give him a hand. All right. So you're hearing this? This is for you, Mr. Eugene Jacob McChicken. Unbelievable. Listen. We know too much. I'm telling you, I hang out con gente terrible. Let's go. Our next watch is the Rolex White Gold Daytona, 40 millimeter, Ghost, silver dial. The Ghost. Reference number 116509, 40 millimeter. It's unbelievable. This is disgusting. The watch market is disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. It's disgusting. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. And I mean this, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $34,000 in dropping. All right, guys? You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Stainless Steel Explorer. 42 millimeter, white dial. with the orange hand. Believable. Reference number 226570. Explorer, stainless steel, white dial with the orange hand. Unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I have to tell you the truth from this channel. Nobody's going to do that but me, And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $9,300 in dropping. All right, guys? Don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch here that you must pay attention, because you guys still believe that these watches are up there, all the way up. All the way up. They're not like us. They're not like us. All the way up. We're talking about the Rolex stainless steel Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Thank you very much, Dr. Eva, for that super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Eva. This is a watch, that I call it the Darth Vader. Darth Vader from Star Wars. Oh, Luke, my son, I love you, Luke. Darth Vader. Black dial, black ceramic bezel, silver gauges. Unbelievable, this watch. And this watch, at one moment, ladies and gentlemen, it was over $35,000. Unbelievable time machine, the Darth Vader 116500LN. Unbelievable watch. And I'm going to have to tell you the truth, the truth. I'm going to have to tell you the truth, Mr. Donut. I'm going to have to tell you the truth, Mr. Donut. Don't pay for that watch. Listen to me, Papi. The watch market is dead. I know it's hard to believe it. I know it's hard. It's dead. And, people, the content, these people out there, these creators, they're not motivated no more, Papa. Listen to me. What you were seeing out there was free money. The money has dried out. It's dried up, There's no more PPP loans. There's no more SBA loans. You understand me? There's no more unemployment protection, checks to pay their salaries to their workers. There's no more, Papi. What's wrong with you people? There's no more. It's over, man. It's over. What's left out there is your hard-earned money that you work hard cutting a check every week. So terminó ya, papi. It's hard, man, living in the penthouse and bringing you down to the third floor. It's hard. Nobody wants to leave the penthouse to the third floor. I mean, you're still in the building, but you're not no more in the penthouse. You're in the third floor now, the doorman doesn't look at you the same way no more. There's a doorman that looks at you, when you go to the penthouse, and there's a doorman that looks at you when you go to the third floor, like, ahí viene barato it. Two different things, So, I'm telling you, guys, you gotta be smart. You guys gotta be smart, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for the Darth Vader. Don't get scared. It's just a watch, papi. It's just a watch. Don't pay for more than $19,500. Okay? You understand me? 2017, 2016. Don't pay. Listen to Dr. Evil. He'll tell you. Papi, ya se lo terminó ya. You can't. You can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Is that? So you stand up. Stand up for your rights. No sean lambones y palomos. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex stainless steel Oyster Perpetual 41 millimeter flat blue, reference number 134300, new flat blue. Let me tell you, this watch, be careful. But I'm going to tell you what you got to pay for that watch. Don't pay for that flat blue 41 millimeter Oyster Perpetual. Don't pay for it more than $9,400 and dropping. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Papi, let me explain to you something. If a watch costs $7,000 and it's a hot commodity watch that everybody wants. In my time, you wanted a Milgauss when it came out. It was $7,200, a Milgauss. And your great watch market dealer would ask you for the watch. Look, I pay so much and I want $8,400 for the watch. You would pay for it and you were happy. But you guys got them accustomed to continue driving around their red gold fast car, their Montclair sweaters, Supreme hoodies, Louis Vuitton Nike sneakers, ripped jeans, Supreme backpacks, sushi dinners, steak dinners with that guy that's bankrupt already. The guy that's bankrupt, he throws salt, in the steak, has a white t-shirt, sunglasses, a paddock, ta, 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 and he takes a Fred Flintstone bone and puts it in your mouth, and he takes it out and puts it again back in and out. You gotta stop that already, bro. And then you're doing that in front of your girlfriend. What is that? What is that? Come on, what's that Lambone? What's that Lambone? I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about a watch, which I have this watch. It's a Rolex stainless steel Hawk. Submariner, green dial, green ceramic bezel. Reference number 116610LV. Unbelievable looking watch. Unbelievable. The most beautiful green dial in the game. No matter which green they bring today, nobody can beat that green. The most beautiful green dial. Rolex has it in the Rolex Submariner. The most beautiful green dial. I'm the Hawk, a strong guy. Beautiful. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay. This watch is dropping, ladies and gentlemen. This watch is dropping. It's dropping. You want to use and you want a full set. If it is not full set, you don't want it. Use. Slider condition material. Yes, it's pretty good, the Muser, but I tell you, this Hawk green, I don't know how we end up. Mr. Donut, you hit it right in the head. Don't pay for that watch. I gotta say it quickly because Mr. Donut put $15,000, and I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for the Hawk more than $14,800. All right, guys? You do yourself a favor. You do. Papi, esto está muerto. This is going to keep on dropping. This is going to keep on dropping. When I finish this live stream that I'm doing you guys a favor, I should be right now laying in bed, my beautiful wife. My wife loves me and I love my wife, Believable. I'm here doing this for you because I'm doing the man's work. Me and Sweet Kikino, I'm gonna watch the news. You're very welcome, Mike. I know you wanted that, so there it is. I'm here doing this because this is what I do, It's like, when you go to church and you do God's work, I'm a disciple. I'm a disciple. Yes, I said it. I'm a disciple. So, it's if I go watch the TV in the next hour and I hear that Iran did not stay with their arms crossed and they call their friend Hezbollah and they call their friend Hamas, you understand me? These people, they Hamas from Gaza, and they call each other and they throw a bomb to that oil pipeline. Papi, esto se jodió. It's this, el sombrero le va a quedar grande. Sometimes the cowboy hats you put on, and it's too big. It's gonna be big for a couple of countries, because those people, they don't play around. Those people don't play around. They call their club friends, Spanky, Alfalfa, Farina, Porky, Chubby. They all get together. And they, in all those shows, you have a girl too, which she's another one too that's not good either. I forgot her name, but she was always in love with Alfalfa. And then she would always cheat, with Butch, with Butch or with the rich kid, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? The girl that, Alfalfa loved. But she was always cheating. The same thing would happen with Popeye, with Olive Oil and Pluto. Exactly. And always in these shows, there's always a little zitch, a little zitch always doing, things, and I used to get mad. I was like around 6, 7 years old, and I would get mad, I was really mad because I forgot what was her name, man, but she was, man, she was always cheating in Alfalfa. Poor Alfalfa. Oh, and Buckwheat, and then Buckwheat would tell Alfalfa not to get sad, and it's unbelievable. Forget about it. Forget about this. Forget about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about a watch that I haven't made a watch market update on these watches because I have left all these people keep on giving you this, Well, I'm going to give you this today. Today, I'm going to give it to you. I have 33 organic watch channel subscribers. That is superb. You don't understand. We don't need 100 here. We need 33. That's all we need. 33. 33 because they're organic and they're for real. And then the rest are locked down. They can't see. They can't come in. Next watch is a Patek Philippe Cubitus stainless steel 45 millimeter green dial. Reference number 5821/1A. I'm going to give you I'm going to be kind. I'm going to give you the retail price of that watch. Retail price of that watch is $43,263. At one moment, it was $41,400, I believe. But, they keep on raising prices on you guys because that's how it is. It's how it is. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch at one moment when it first came out, so many got flim-flammed. And I like it. I love it because they like it. They just like to give money away. It's people having addiction, seeing other people living life, and having fun and spending their money. They like that. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man, but it's a horrible thing. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, and you do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch, no matter what you see out there, the watch market is dead. Don't pay for that watch more than $77,000. The stainless steel with the green dial, the Cubitus. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Dr. Evil. Don't do it, Dr. Evil. Don't do it. Stay at peace with yourself. Don't do it. Watch market is dead. You have to understand, Papi, they cannot continue. If you ask me, well, one, have the prices from the Corona era to today, have they come down? Well, I'm going to tell you the truth, Bobby. They have come down. They have. But it has been, if you haven't heard this, you're going to hear it from me in a while. This one says it the way it is. It's been a slow pace going down. Because you dumbskis keep on holding it up for them. You dumbskis. You continue holding it up for them. If you guys say, all of you, for the next month, I know I'm addicted to watches, but I'm not gonna, call, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. I'm not gonna call no more the Hungry Hippo Mr. Magoo. I'm not gonna call no more Big Pun and Heavy D. I'm not gonna call no more the two Jehovah Witness brothers. You understand me? You know what I'm trying to say? And you stop doing that. It's the same thing that I'm telling you that gentleman, the gentleman from 47th Street, Uncle Johnny. Listen to him, don't listen to me. He's just repeating what I've been telling you all along. But you guys are too busy skip hopping around through life, through life and not listening to me. But if you guys stop asking for quotations, asking, source me this watch, source me this, the watch market, it goes down, but in a very lento, very, very, This thing should have been rock bottom already. Pero ustedes son unos lambones y unos sapos. Lambones y sapos. It's all your fault. Ladies and gentlemen, if they don't call me from any AD on the watches that I want, I'm not buying it from nobody. From nobody. Have they called me in these days? They always call me, but not for the watch I want. Not for the, and I told them in a very respectable way, I'm waiting for this watch. So as soon as you have it, let me know. I'll fly there with my wife. I'll stay there a couple of days, go to the beach. But just you guys keep on calling and calling and calling, so it stays there. But is it dropping? Of course it's dropping. But this thing had to be already. Had to be like in the year 2016. You guys continue. Es culpa de ustedes por ser lambones y gilipollas. Por ser gilipollas. And what do me and Sweet Kid Kino get? Nothing. We don't get nothing. You know, you go over there and you want to talk to him. You want to talk to the other one. You want to talk to, Jiminy Cricket, the Chia Pet spray can hair. He's always, I don't know what, Charlie Brown, the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown. Papi, I've told you everything is dead. You take 1 month out of your life not requesting watch prices. Papi, that jewelry store over there, that hangs out with the toupee wingman, with the flower shirt, pink pants, green shoes, yellow belt. He's like 80 years old. He drives a Ferrari. And he hangs out with, those two guys, from Happy Feet, a night at the Roxbury. One is tall, one is short, one is smart, one is dumb. These people are asking $15,000 over the prices that I tell you guys. And you guys like that. Oh my God, I like that. Que bella que era. Porque son lambones. Lambones, gilipollas. Mocosos. No, Kilo, no te metas. No te metas. No te metas, soy yo hoy. No te metas. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Cubitus, two-tone, 45mm blue dial, 5821/1AR. Retail price of that watch is $65,266. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, don't pay for that watch more than $81,000 and dropping, right? That's what it is. Our next watch is the Patek Philippe Cubitus Platinum blue strap, blue dial, 5822 platinum. Unbelievable watch. Retail price of that watch is $92,707. 45mm, all these watches, these Cubitus. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $131,000. And you tell them that I'm the one that says that price. You tell them that. When they hear my name, I don't know, a gentleman that's here, he says they shake. You tell them, Damon, you tell them. Okay? Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Aquanaut 5968A. Unbelievable, 42.2mm. Orange hand, orange strap. Unbelievable watch. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. It's more unbelievable when I tell you the retail price of that watch. It's unbelievable. Retail price of that watch is $55,970. And ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Patek Philippe Aquanaut 5968, 42.2mm. Don't pay, and I mean this, don't pay for that watch more, and I mean don't pay more than $112,000. Right, guys? They're going to have fun with me tonight. They're not going to sleep well tonight, Papa. They're not going to sleep well with me tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a watch that I have a special name for it, You know, the James LeBron. You know who the James LeBron watches? You know, this is James LeBron. You know, that guy's like 50 years old and he's still breaking records in the NBA and he won't retire and he has a son that's playing in the G League and, you know, he's unbelievable, you know, breaking every single record he can, exactly. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon. Thank you. You know what I'm trying to say. You know, he broke every record. You know, he's trying to be like, like JM, and he's trying to be like, Cubeta. You know Cubeta? Cubeta. You know, he passed away in a plane. You know, the Illuminati. You know, the helicopter. Unbelievable. Another story for another day for that. But I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredible. Yeah, you also have the two toddler body brothers. You do. You have them too. I mean, these people. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna come see, because where you have to, Paco Gambino always show me where you have to give credit one, you give it, even if you disagree with them, even if you dislike them, you give credit. And I'm gonna tell you this. Yes, they're the ones that sell all those raffle tickets, the two toddler body brothers. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. They're telling you real numbers that I respect. Numbers that when they are making a sale and when they are buying watches, 5 foot, 5 foot 4 inches, Paco Gambino. You see, Damon, he knows who he is, Paco Gambino. Man, small little man. He would tell me always, you tell him, even if you don't like him, it's nothing big. He would always tell me one, when you don't like somebody, listen and learn. When you don't like somebody and you say something positive of them, they respect you. They know you don't like them. They know that already. But they know you said something, on their favor. Because where truth is truth, papi. So, when you're looking at the two toddler body brothers out of, Miami, listen and learn. Honestly, to be honest, Kino has told me this. Kino has told me this. Exactly. Damon, you're too smart, papi. Exactly. That's what he does. But I'm not doing it because of him, Damon. I'm doing it because of Mr. Paco Gambino, 5 foot 4 inches. Chacho. When he would talk to me, man, power. Some people, some man. Let me explain to you something. And I'm not a fan of this actor. His name is Robert De Niro. I am a fan of Martin Scorsese, but I'm a bigger fan of Joe Pesci. Well, let me tell you something. If you ever, these words, these scripts, man, they have to come from down under, man. You're only gonna hear these type of words. You know where you came from. Down deep. And if you ever see the movie, I think it's called my cousin Vanny Wright, but he did The Irishman. And I think he's done great on Raging Bull, Casino, Goodfellas. He was unbelievable. But his acting on the Irishman, I think it's called The Irishman. Wow. What that man talks there, Bobby, you should get some of that material in your head. Paco was Paco, muchacho, Paco. And that's what I'm trying to say, that when I see the English Irishman, I don't know, one of them in those movies, I forget the name of it. and I see the way that he talks in the movie. You know, I forgot his name too. I think his name was in the movie. He had a name, Buffalo. Buffalo. I think his name was Buffalo. Buffalo something. You know, Buffalo something. And he spoke, and the way he tells the character of Robert De Niro in the movie. You know, we did everything we could. It had to be done. You know, in life, it's like that for real. We did everything we could. We did everything we could. You know, you know, and Paco Gambino, he got me under his wings, and he would sit me down, and we would drink, coffee, and he would tell me things that would, blow my hair back, not once, 2 and 3 times. He would blow it back and blow it front, blow it back and blow it front, and knock my socks off. These people will teach you words that He says, "Hey Juan, be careful with that gentleman." "What do you mean, Paco?" "Be careful. That guy will take off your socks off without taking off your shoes." How do these people get that in their head? How? Porque son leones afeitados. These are lions that have been shaved. Anyway, guys, enough of that. You guys, you're not ready for this. I was talking about the James LeBron, reference number 16202 Ultra Thin, 39 millimeter, the James LeBron, with the smoke dial. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch has been acting so erratic, so crazy at 128, 175, 290, you understand me? The James LeBron, ultra thin, yellow gold, unbelievable. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, listen, guys, when I'm no longer here, you guys are always going to remember me. Not Sweet Kikino, because Sweet Kikino is the owner of this channel. Joaquin is the owner of this channel, but I'm the voice. I'm the one that gives the face, because he doesn't have to. But you're going to miss me, all right? You're going to miss me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold Smoke Dial 16202 Ultra Thin 39 millimeter, the James LeBron. I'm telling you, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $102,000. I know what I'm telling you. I'm telling you all this because you need to know all these things, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know all these things. They won't. Let me say something, because I might forget. I'm telling you this. I'm going to tell all of you a secret. So listen and learn. I have been approached. I'm talking square business here. Square business. That means for real. If you don't know what square business means, it means for real. I've been approached from all those Michiganers that you guys do business with, that you guys like to do this, all of them have told me, "Why don't you join? You can do whatever you want." You guys don't believe me, right? I'm serious. You guys don't believe me, right? You guys don't believe me that I've been approached, right? I'm not for sale, exactly. But I have been approached by... Just stop saying that the watch market is dead. That's what you need to do. Do you understand me? Just stop saying that the watch market is dead. And I tell them, listen, man, to me, this is more of a gig, that I get to mock you guys and I get to laugh at you guys. Maybe if I needed the coins and nickels, I would do it. Maybe. The coins and nickels, I get it from you guys when you guys send me a little super chat, and I'm happy. That makes me, feel appreciated from you guys, right? And maybe I buy a new phone with with a new microphone. So I say no, but everyone you can think of, everyone that you can think of, everyone from that guy, Uncle Johnny, Eddie Monster, they, and I say, oh man, you want me to tell you one more thing? One more thing I'm going to tell you. Do you know how many channels? Now watch this one. Let's see how you guys react to this one. How many channels do you think I have been invited? Not Sweet Kikino, me. How many watch channels do you think have invited me to go live on their channel? Every single one of them. Every single one of them. I have been invited to every single one of them. I don't care. I'm telling you the truth. Every single one. From the kangaroo plays to the, to Eugene, Eugene, the San Francisco cruiser, that will wax your sinuses for free if you buy from him in the lips. You understand me? Everywhere. I say no. From one of the watch channels who I have a lot of respect for, and if you're hearing me, I'm going to say it. The gentleman, which I call in a sweet way, the West Virginia One-Eye Whitaker. Even the West Virginia One-Eye Whitaker has asked me many times to go on his show. And I'm going to say this live to all of you now. If I make one day a live, somewhere, if you're listening to me, West Virginia One-Eye Whitaker, it will be with him. All right? I already said it. Guys, I'm going to give you the last watch market update of the evening. The last one. And here it goes. It's a beautiful watch. It's an AP Royal Oak Chrono. Reference number 26315. 38 millimeter. Unbelievable time machine. Unbelievable. 38, 38 millimeter watch. They call this watch, if you guys know what it is, they call this watch Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes. Unbelievable. Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes Panda. The Blue Eyes Panda. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you this because you need to know this. This watch is a very, very hot watch. I'll tell you what watches to me are, and this is one of them. This is beautiful watch. 38 millimeters, stainless steel, white dial, blue gauges. Beautiful watch. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and save your children's tuition money and don't pay for this watch. And if it's not full set, use slider condition material watches in this channel. Use, but full set. Don't pay for that watch more than $41,000 and dropping. Right, guys? There it is, guys. That's your watch market update for this day. This day that's an unbelievable day. What's happening in the world? I am gonna try tomorrow. Whatever I see tomorrow with the stock market, with gold, and whatever news I hear that Kino instructs me to share with you guys. I will probably be live tomorrow too. I will probably be live, right, guys? I want to thank all of you who really appreciate this channel, who really support this channel, just being here, and to the ones that gave us a some kind of love, with some kind of super chats. Like I said again, this just keeps me going, guys. All right, it keeps me going for real. It makes me believe that I am wanted, and they want me to continue doing this. The day I see that it's not there no more, I'll run to the hills like a zitch. All right, guys. Don't forget we have a private watch group under my name, Juan Nieves, and the name is Opus in Time Watches. Try to request it. Maybe Samantha and Sweet Kikino to me, Joaquin to you, or let you in. All right, guys? And guys, like me and Sweet Kikino will say every day, take care and brush your hair. Peace.